DeLuna Coffee. Come explore our world of coffee. Founded by the first family of Florida State Coffee and based in Pensacola, Florida, DeLuna Coffee is the driving passion of the Lemmix family. Ed, his wife Courtney, and their son Brett. Their tailgating spot out front of the Unconquered statue is their own slice of paradise. But the real delight is DeLuna's blend of Kona, Maui, Kenya, Colombian, and Brazilian beans that they call their liquid gold brew. In fact, they called it Paradise. Try it or one of their 24 blends and get a discount when you use the promo code WARCHANT15. Visit DeLunaCoffee.com and check out their Facebook and Instagram.
From Tally to Cali,
it's time
to wake up.
Wake up, wake up. WarChant.com is your ultimate Seminole sports source.
And this is Wake Up Warchant, fueled by DeLuna Coffee.
Coffee's for closers only.
Now here's WarChant.com's Aslan Hajavandi
and Corey Clark.
Wake up! What is up? It is Wake Up Warchant. It is fueled by DeLuna Coffee. DeLunaCoffee.com. Come explore our world of coffee. Use that promo code WARCHANT15 when you go to DeLunaCoffee.com. You can save 15% off of your order. Again, reminders, those bundles, they're back, but they're running low. Get your orders in. You get a bundle, $40. You get a tumbler. I mean, the tumbler itself, Corey, is pretty much worth the $40 alone. And then Ed and Brett and Courtney are like, well, you need to have coffee to enjoy it. And then what's life without dessert? You get all three of those in a bundle. DeLunaCoffee.com. Get your orders in. How are you, Corey? I know you might. Are you sore right now? You're fresh off a very rigorous planking session. You going to be okay?
Right. Yeah. Well, planking was just one of the stations. There were 6 of them. High knees, doing some squat type stuff, some chest stuff, planking, sit-ups. It was a lot for this old body. But yeah, no, I'm good, man. I'm good. It's that high you get after a workout like that, Aslan. I miss that. The
endomorphins or whatever.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
That's what it felt like. It felt pretty endomorphin-y when I was going through it. And I want to clarify from yesterday's show, Carla, it turns out, is a work friend of Stephanie's. I knew I recognized that name. She's a work friend of Stephanie's, and Stephanie did not put her up to that at all.
Okay.
That was all Carla on her own. So asking me that, to more than anything, just to reverse the fortunes of Florida State football, I need to propose to Stephanie.
We will indeed stay tuned to the love life of Corey Clark, his life on solid ground, your life hopefully on good ground as well. Everybody hit the thumbs up button. Show that you appreciate the video on the YouTube channel. Maybe leave a 5-star rating and review if you're on an Apple or iOS device. All that stuff, it matters. It adds up. This is a Renegade Express edition of the program. If you don't like what we're talking about, take it up with our lovely, respected, valued customers over on the warchant.com Tribal Council. I don't want to talk about baseball, but I think we have a baseball question here somewhere. But before we get to there, Corey, we've been talking about quarterback, what they're going to do. Should they add somebody else? You and I agree that they need to figure out some way to bring in another experienced quarterback. This does not seem like a very good idea to roll into a season with a true freshman, a redshirt freshman, and then backing up Jordan Travis. Just probably not your best sort of scenario. So we get into this whole, well, how can you get somebody that's talented, that's established, that's going to want to come here and have a kind of an uphill battle to get the starting job? That's not going to work out. I think I mentioned a few months ago, we never talk about junior college quarterbacks anymore. It sure be nice if Florida State can maybe go after the top junior college quarterback in the nation, because you feel like no matter how good they are, they want to get out of JUCO. They'll look at a place like Florida State and see great opportunity. I say this only because as we record this, I had Langston. I'm like, Langston, look into this. I mean, who knows? But there's a quarterback who plays Division II football in Pensacola at West Florida. He's a Florida native. He's from St. Augustine. His name is Austin Reed. He helped lead them to the 2019 national title. And in 2 seasons now, they didn't have a 2020 season, Corey, because of COVID, but they played last year. He was a finalist for Division II Player of the Year last season. He's thrown for over 7,500 yards and 78 touchdowns in 2 seasons. His completion percentage is hovering around 54%, which is kind of gross. But I looked at like 40 seconds of his film, and I'm like, why not? That's just, it seems to me that kind of the mold of this kid coming from like a Division II background, which probably would be over the moon to be able to compete for a Division I job, 6'2", 220. He's been in a big game. He's been in a championship game. He has won it. Fundamentally, he looks good in the film, the limited film I did see him. He's climbing the pocket nicely, throwing an accurate ball downfield. Would that not go over well to the fan base? You think? I know we can't really worry about the fan base as much as the locker room maybe, but what do you think of like a Division II guy that's won a national title at that level and, is thrown from 7,500 yards and nearly 80 touchdowns in 2 seasons? Or is that just too big of a jump from, at least at that position, to go Division II?
I don't know that I should be worried or excited that apparently you and I are starting to share the same brain. Because immediately when I saw that on Twitter, him in the transfer portal, I'm like, well, man, from Pensacola, or he's in Pensacola now. He's a Florida native, 6'2", 220. That seems like the perfect guy to go after. Not, again, if Caleb Williams was interested, if Jaden Daniels is interested, go get those guys. That's probably not going to happen. But this kind of guy, this seems like the opportunity a guy like that is looking for. A perfect opportunity. He gets to try to, well, number one, he gets to be a quarterback at Florida State, even if he's not starting. That's fun. It's a Division I scholarship coming from a Division II school. That's certainly what he's trying to do. And I don't know that he's a capable starter in the ACC, but I don't know that about Tate Rodemaker or A.J. Duffy either. And this guy has college football experience. He's older. I just think that is right in the window of the kind of person you're going to get as a backup to Jordan Travis. A guy that he'll compete, he wants to win the job, but he won't be coming in expecting, like, you better give me the job. There won't be promises made to this guy, and there won't be expectations that he is going to win the job. So, but it's perfect to me. A guy like this, maybe not this guy in particular, but a guy like this, and it's funny because I texted Ira about, man, I think I might write a column about this guy. Like, this is the dude you should try to go get, or not even should try to go get. This is the dude this is the guy in the pond you're fishing from. You're not fishing in the Caleb Williams pond. You're fishing in this pond with guys that are either at smaller schools that want to go try their hand at a bigger school, like a David Nichols. David Nichols averaged like 18 points a game at Albany or wherever he was at before he came to Florida State. He comes to Florida State and doesn't start a single game. After starting for 2 years at Albany, he scored 40 points in one game. But at Florida State, he's like the second guy off the bench. I think his season high was like 17 or 18 points. Sometimes he'd only play 6 minutes. But he got to play high-level ACC Division I basketball, played in a Sweet 16 game. Or maybe he didn't. He was hurt. He was hurt. They have a real shot against Gonzaga if him and Kofor are playing, but they weren't. So either way, those are the kind of guys you're looking for. You're not no great point guard was going to come join that Florida State team from like a Kentucky or a Kansas or this because Trent Forrest was there and they knew the deal. Like, okay, I'm going to back up Trent Forrest and be a part of this. That's what this kind of recruit, this kind of portal guy is to me the perfect guy. Because you're not because you don't want Jaden Daniels, not because you don't want Caleb Williams or Spencer Rattler. You're not getting those guys. But you need something. And this is probably the kind of guy you're getting. A smaller school guy that wants to try his hand at Division I, big-time Division I football, or a backup at another Division I school. You're not going to get a starter from a Division I Power 5, Group of 5. It's just hard to imagine you're going to get a starter from one of those schools. So this is the avenue you have to probably drive down. And man, to me, don't you feel a little bit better if you get somebody like that? That I know he's played 2 years. I know it's Division II, but 7,800 yards, 78 touchdowns, a national championship. He knows the game. He's mature enough to still be playing football at age 21 or 22. I think that's a no-brainer if somebody like that wants to come compete for the starting job.
I also thought about what Tony Tokars, the new quarterback coach, said when we spoke to him a month or so ago when he talked about, I might not be like a blue blood hire or like I'm a blue collar hire, something like that. I feel like he'd probably like coaching a kid like this because you feel like a kid like this with that kind of profile coming from a smaller school would just come in like a sponge and just be so grateful for the opportunity, and that kind of keeps everything copacetic inside of your quarterback room. So, again, as we record this, it's just, some thoughts between two guys. Did tell
just conjecture. It's just conjecture. But again, we're not saying, hey, go comb the best Division II schools in the country and go find yourself a quarterback. It's Florida State, man. That's not how you don't make a living going to the Division II route. Just in this particular instance, With Jordan Travis still having 2 years left to play, it is not an appealing place for a transfer quarterback. In fact, you had a guy here who transferred away who's still not guaranteed a starting spot. It is just not an attractive, appealing place. So this is your market. Guys like this. So whether it's him or somebody else, I feel like it's going to be a person like this. Now, again, you can wait till after spring practice, see which quarterbacks lose their jobs at bigger schools, but have experience and go that route. That fine. But I'm saying this is probably the route. These are the type of quarterbacks you're going to be bringing on as a transfer when you have an entrenched guy like Jordan Travis.
Well said. Well said, Corey.
Thank you, buddy.
Let's get to the mailbag, but actually one last thing. So Tour of Duty starts, or it's been going on, but we're allowed to go monitor and watch and observe it on March 1st, which is Tuesday. And I got all my dates messed up in the Renegade Express thread, so I apologize for that in advance. But we won't be allowed to film or take photographs, but we will be allowed to, observe it the entire duration. So the two guys who told you this team was probably going to win 6 or 7 games last year are the one. You got to trust our eyes. We were all right. We were kind of on the mark last year, so we're your eyes and your ears once again. So we'll be out there. Well, not we. We Warchant. Corey and I would be we, a plural, but one of us won't be there. You can figure out who's going to sit that one out. Right. But that's kind of a bummer. Yeah, I was hoping to take some video, but I don't know. Maybe they're batting down the hatches, whatever. I mean, they let us film it in 2020. I would have figured they'd let us do it again, but it's not me complaining. Just let you folks know we won't have video. But we'll have observations up the wazoo because we'll have 16 sets of eyeballs. Well, 16 eyeballs, like 8 sets. I'll stop talking. Let me read some questions in front of me.
Right, here we go.
First one, Ralph, Hawaii, Spartan 071. Aloha, guys. How's it? Though the baseball team suffered a minor setback on Tuesday, they lost to Jacksonville, everybody.
That's what they do.
Yeah, apparently. I feel as strong as before that this is a really good team and will go far this year. Probably. I'm hurt right now, Ralph. I noticed in your introductory post, Aslan, that it states this will be the last show until the start of spring football. I screwed that up, Ralph. I thought, it's not. We'll have a full we'll be full go next week. I screwed it all up. I was just trying to be cute. He says, I don't know what I would do until March 5th without a podcast. We got you. It's all good. Here's his question, Corey. It's going to draw upon our many years of covering the team. You covering more so than I have. When spring drills are over, what are the signs you would have looked for to give you optimism that this team is on the right track? Would it be receivers catching most of what's thrown at them, quarterbacks putting the ball where it's supposed to be, or something other than the position groups would have shown you, or something other position groups would have shown you? Mahalo for your time and considerations. Go Warchant, Ura. Thank you, Ralph. Hope you're doing well. Hope the PT's going strong. Miss Ingrid taking care of you. Yeah, Corey, what do you think, man? Did you know 13 was going to be kind of interesting in a fun way in April of 2013? I mean, we didn't even know the quarterback was going to be. That spring game was fun to watch. But what will you look for? What will let you know, like that 8-win sort of floor is what we'll be playing around with in 2022 here?
Yeah, well, I think in 13, not that this team is that, the spring game with Jameis changed everything. It's like, okay, this is a whole different ball game, because you knew the defense was going to be good. You just wondered about the inconsistency that the offense had the year before, and then you saw that, and you're like, yeah, they're set, they're good. Not national, maybe not national championship good, but you're like, okay, they're going to be a really, really strong team again. This year, man, to me, I'm all about the offense. I've done a complete 180 from where I was last year, where I thought it was good that the defense dominated, that Jermaine Johnson was awesome, and it was. I mean, the defense improved greatly from 2020 to 2021, so that was a positive sign that the defense seemed to play so well in the spring. Now, in the spring game, Mackenzie Milton made some really nice throws, and you started to wonder again. But yeah, they weren't getting hit. There were a bunch of sacks. This year in the spring, to me, it is all about the receivers, and it is all about pocket time. Pocket time multiple ways. How quickly does my man throw the ball on rhythm, on time, with a different set of receivers, and what kind of protection is he getting? That's all I'm looking for. This offense, again, I'm going to preach it for the next 7 months. Y'all are going to get sick of hearing it. Just don't tune out, because I say some funny stuff occasionally too, guys. I really do. But yeah, to me, it's all about the offense. This offense has to get 60 yards and 7 points better. And if you're doing that, you're barking at 8 wins. But it has to get better. So that's really my whole focal point in the spring. And then the new linebacker, I want to see what he looks like. The kid from UCF, how he fits in, what he looks like. Because I think you mentioned him yesterday in the show a little bit. That's a real difference maker there, potentially, at linebacker. A solid to good college linebacker to go along with DeLoach and Gaynor. Maybe Lundy gets better. Maybe Dix does some things. Who knows? But you start to feel pretty good, or at least okay about your linebacking core if this guy's as good as we think he can be.
Yeah. There's some moments I thought in practices last season that, like, Jordan looked really good. I'm like, all right, man, this kid is going to be a good college quarterback. And I think by and large he looked like a good college quarterback for most of the time he was in the lineup. And there's some moments that weren't that clutch, I guess you could say, maybe against Clemson. That's a tough ask. I get it. So I don't even know if I would say his performance. I don't know if there's anything I could see from him that would make me think he's turned some sort of corner or has hit some next level. So I will steal a page from like the Corey Clark playbook, second quarter of a game Florida State's losing, where he's just like, guys, you can break tackles. You guys can do some stuff with the ball after you catch it. So I want to see receivers not necessarily catch a 65-yard air throw, but make a 65-yard gain on a 15-yard throw. Like, make guys miss. Let's see some guys with wiggle, guys that can break tackles and open things up. The running game, I'm not all that curious about it. I'm just not a running dude.
What a weird thing to say. That's always been your motto, though. You've never been into the running game.
Nah, yeah, I'm very pass. That's why it was always weird.
Pass heavy.
Yeah, it was always weird listening to you guys on. I love listening to you guys on headlines when I used to. I just don't do it anymore because I don't want to steal all of Jeff's ideas. But like you guys, there's a lot of like why would Jimbo why don't you just run the ball, man? Run the ball more. It's like no, keep doing what you're doing. I like it. Unless it's 4th and 1 in the Super Bowl and you need 13 yards to send your team into overtime, then run the ball.
Right, run it away from Aaron Donald, even
yes,
maybe.
Yes, yeah. So, and then defensively, Greedy Vance. I think we'll have some video features here in the next week or so because I thought spring football is actually going to start next week. My dates are all messed up. What
happened to you?
I don't know. I have no good excuse for it. I didn't hang maybe a calendar in my house instead of just looking at it on my phone.
Right.
But doing a little more research on Greedy Vance, that seems to have been a guy that was in Louisville's plans. They were definitely bummed out they lost him. And we've talked about, like, does Florida State really have like a true cover corner? Amarian Cooper might have sort of emerged as that, but you can never have too many of those guys. So it'll be nice to see maybe the secondary. I wanted to see the secondary and the receivers battle. They battled last year, but it was like a pillow fight. Like the receivers never got open, and then it was like, so what? Do we just have a whole bunch of Jalen Ramseys playing cornerback here now? Like, probably not. Let's see some like real competitive spirit, big time playmaking, athletic movement from both those groups battling. So that's what I'm going to keep my eye on.
Think about how good that'll make the DBs. Yes. Like last year, I'm telling you guys, y'all aren't out at practice. We are. At least the first week and a half of spring, it's like it would have been like me trying to catch these passes. Like the receivers had no chance. Nobody went up and made a play. Nobody went up and made a tough contested catch. Sometimes they didn't even get a hand on it. They just fell flailing backwards as the ball landed out of bounds and the DB did the incomplete sign. I mean, their arms were sore. They were doing so many incomplete signs. Like they couldn't throw. And this is one-on-one. This isn't 7-on-7 or 11-on-11. These are just one-on-one routes. The receivers should dominate those drills. And they could barely complete anything. And that I was banging that drum very loudly back then. And then it turned out to come to fruition during the season for the most part. But yeah, so the DBs, the first time they're facing competent competition, depth-wise on the whole, running a bunch of guys at them is in a game. Is the Notre Dame game. And games like that, they didn't do well. They didn't respond well early on in the season. Clearly, there's a play in September that we all remember. But now they're going to be able to, they get this every day in practice. There will be a real back and forth because I think these wide receivers have a little what for, man. Like, I don't think it's just, the talent is there, the size is there, but I think they might tell some DBs about it when they make plays. And that's great for a competition in practice. It's great. It's desperately what Florida State needs.
Old Dad's and Knoll next up says, wake up. If you know, can you guys elaborate on the spring game format? Also, what would be your ideal spring game format? I personally, old dad that is, would like to see us playing other schools. Keep up the good work, old dad. Wow, well, you've opened a whole another sort of tangent of possibility there, old dad. I like it. Not sure what the spring game format will be. We do get to speak to Mike Norvell next Friday. Aslan.
Yeah, get it right, Aslan, next Friday.
Next Friday, on the eve of the first practice of spring football, we can ask him that. I do like a game. I do want to see a Garnet team versus a Gold team. I understand numbers play into that, whether you have enough healthy bodies. You don't want guys to maybe get hurt. But let's see some guys compete, man. I just feel like you probably have enough. Maybe you have Jordan be all-time quarterback or something like that. Maybe figure out something there so it's a little more equitable, because I don't know how fair it would be to have Tate or AJ go against Jordan. And I don't want Jordan to play with
No, we can't have an all-time quarterback. Like, this isn't the backyard. Like, these guys need reps, buddy.
All right.
You got to have Tate and AJ. It's more for them than Jordan. Jordan's done it in games. These guys need actual reps in a format like that.
I know, but then they're not gonna. They can't compete with Jordan. But then what? You're gonna give them the better players? Like, I don't want that. But maybe you do that. All right, Jordan. Like, go and win this with second and third teamers, while the first team is running with the freshmen. But I don't know. Would you rather see us do some sort of inter squad scrimmage, Corey, or maybe we invite West Florida out here for a scrimmage and winner gets their quarterback? You want to see another school?
Yeah, there you go. That makes sense. I'd rather do. They should try that with USC. See if they'll accept that. I think playing a team like West Florida, there could be some animosity and they could get kind of ugly. Like, it's like those when the NFL for some reason they practice against other teams in the preseason.
Yeah.
And every single time they do it, especially if they practice against the same team 2 days in a row, there are fights and there are helmets being swung. Yeah. It's just human nature. It's that sport. It's that it's ego. It's testosterone. It's just the physicality of it. Yeah, there are going to be fights. So you wouldn't want to play a team like, or any team really. I don't know, man. I kind of worry that spring games are going to go the way of like the Pro Bowl. And eventually it's just because they're so worried, rightly so, they're so worried about injury that no tackling, just thud, and that's the end of the – so, I'm not saying I would do that, but I would probably do it. I mean, I think they do it all right. Like, they play it for a real half with the first and second team essentially back and forth. They give the walk-ons a shot, the walk-on quarterbacks and some other walk-on guys a shot, and then the third and fourth quarter is like a running clock where they probably have 4 series total. I think that's about right. Play a half of real football, and then another half where you're just trying to get guys work and say they got to play in Doak Campbell Stadium.
Speaking of Pro Bowl, I would like to see, like, I'd be cool if they want to go like NHL All-Star competition and just make it like a skills-based kind of showcase. Like, the fans out here will have like accuracy throwing, maybe have like a 40-yard dash with some of the faster players going against each other. Maybe throw a bench out there, see who can, maybe don't make it, give them like 30 seconds who can get the most reps on bench, whatever would be least likely for them to hurt themselves. I don't want to see them repping 225 like they're at the combine or anything like that. But maybe make it some sort of combine skills competition where we can see a lot of these guys, with the helmet off, kind of maybe develop a little bit more.
To go along with the spring game, you mean?
No, just make that. The spring game.
No, nobody's going to come for that. They're trying to sell tickets to this, man.
I don't know.
They got a post game. I think they got a post game concert, buddy.
Well, people come for
some big country act.
Okay. All right. You're
I
in
think
charge
it's
of
Brooks
marketing.
and Dunn. It's either Brooks and Dunn or George Strait. I can't remember. It's one of those country acts, though. So, folks, look it up. Look it up. There's going to be a big country act after the spring game.
One day the guy on the buffalo wing was riding around in a forest. Wait. Hold on, man. It wasn't a buffalo wing. It was a buffalo he was riding. No, I'm pretty sure it was a Zaxby's buffalo wing. And he was eating a new buffalo garlic glazed boneless wings meal from Zaxby's. It sounds delicious, but it wasn't a... Yeah, it was a guy on a buffalo wing. Well, now I'm hungry. I'm heading to Zaxby's. Guy on a buffalowing.com. Yeah.
And don't forget to listen in for the Zaxby's indescribably good Player of the Week every Monday on Wake Up Warchant.
All right, here we go. We got 2 questions from random_John. Come on, random_John. I thought you were one of my disciples, man. We're an economy of words team. but we'll get to it. We'll see what we can do. All right. Good morning, Aslan and Corey. Hope you're both feeling great and doing well. We are. Corey's a little sore, but he'll live. I have read 2 subjects on the Tribal Council that keep being discussed over and over and over. The first, conference realignment, covering the subject from the alliance to the grant of rights not being a big deal, but at the same time being the only big deal. The other subject that always comes up is boosters. So here are my questions. Question number 1, is an implosion of conferences in college football imminent? If so, how close are we to that actually happening? What is the long-term goal for those who benefit from these changes? Given the number of teams that would have to be involved, is what you believe actually attainable and or sustainable? What is the reason you feel this way? That's just the first question, everybody. Imminent. I would say like in the next 3 years, I don't think, maybe in the next 5, I think next 5 years. If the over-under on that happening, like an implosion of group of 5 or power 5, and then we end up picking the 50 best, 60 best, whatever we're trying to do. If the over-under was set at 3, I would take the over. So that's me on that one. What is the long-term goal for those who benefit from these changes? I don't know. I mean, Greg Sankey's got to have more money than he knows what to do with. The head coach at Mississippi State, I mean, Mike Leach is making probably, I don't know, $5 million a year. I don't know how much more money does he really need. I think Nick Saban's even admitted I probably make too much money. So I don't know what their goals are. The people that want to dissolve the group of the Power 5 structure and make it a football-only conference. Like, what has the NCAA done to hinder what college football power brokers want? They haven't done anything. They haven't stood in the way of anything here recently. I don't
they're
know
barely even involved.
Yeah, so I guess just more money. I mean, maybe they want to actually make this bigger than the NFL. Maybe they think they can make it bigger than the NFL. I don't think so. Maybe in certain states it would be. Otherwise, given the number of teams that would have to be involved, is what you believe actually attainable? Yeah.
You know what I was thinking about, Aslan, when it comes
40.
to this?
Yeah.
Because I've talked about it ad nauseum and will continue to. It's like what's happening to college football to me is what's happening to Hollywood movies. They are all comic book movies. All the big studio releases. Like when I was growing up, there were adult movies. I think about this because the rewatchables.
Not adult movies, but
sorry, not. Yeah, I'm not talking about NC-17. Apparently those are still out there on the internet. But I was listening to the rewatchables. Which is cool sometimes because they do some movies that I like. The Bill Simmons podcast where they talk about old movies, and they're doing Kramer versus Kramer, which I wasn't a huge fan of. I've only seen it once, but that was the #1 movie in America box office in 1980. Kramer versus Kramer. Which do you know about that movie?
Was that about like child custody or?
Yeah, it's just a child custody divorce movie. Meryl Streep leaves her son and her husband, and so he has to raise the son for like 6 months, and then she comes back and wants the kid back, and that's the movie. And it beat out Rocky 2. And then another movie was like Apocalypse Now or something like that. Like they made movies back then that weren't just for 15-year-olds. Yeah. And it's like, okay, I know these studios have to do this to make money. I know money matters. But is the movie-going experience right now for adults, it's worse than it's ever been. Because all they do is cater to this one, mostly all they do is put all their money in these huge studio Marvel movies, and while the rest of the stuff becomes Netflix TV shows. And it's like I don't think that's the best thing for Hollywood to just not that anybody listening to this show cares about what's best for Hollywood, but I think there's some vision issues there. It's short-term vision, like, oh, these movies are making a ton of money. This is where all our money goes. And we're not going to care about any other people that might want to watch any other stuff. They can go find it on Netflix. They can go find it on Amazon. They can go, oh, and guess what? Now nobody's going to the movies. Weird. Like, I just think there's the long-term vision is like, okay, yeah, the SEC makes you a lot of money right now. So keep funneling money into that one region of the country and then see where you are in 20 years when everybody's gone on and they're watching pickleball, or whatever else is the big fad. By the way, the After Doke concert, the Doke After Dark, or I think that's what it's called.
Yeah.
For spring game, it's country music star Chris Jansen.
Ooh.
Whose hit songs include Buy Me a Boat and Fix a Drink. So there you go. Chris Jansen.
Can't wait.
Not to be confused with Chris Hansen from To Catch a Predator.
Want to have a seat over there?
Yeah, you want to have a seat right there? What are you doing with those Zimas? Yeah. What a show that was.
Yeah, I do wonder how much of it, though, is – I don't want to get too much in this. We have so many more questions. Then we have the second part to Random John's question. But your points was a really great metaphor, for real. I like that a lot, Corey. I've lamented – I'm not a cinephile guy. I don't like going to the movie theaters all that much. But I do want how much of it's just there's no original ideas in Hollywood. That's why they keep reverting to this. The fact that it makes all this money, I think, is the bonus to it all. I think the fundamental problem is there's just a lack of creativity. Like, I wonder what is the...
Yeah, but you look at, it's never been better for TV shows. I mean, there are a lot of really creative, well-done TV shows that could probably be franchise movies, or movies anyway, that they turn into 4-part TV shows. Because that's all they do now. It's if you're not making a Marvel movie, don't bother making a movie. Essentially, if it's not James Bond or Marvel or DC, don't. And again, I watch those movies. Peacemaker, it's not a movie; it's a TV show. Is a really well done TV show. It's awesome, and I watch those Marvel movies and I enjoy them. But it's like I enjoy other things too, and I enjoy SEC football. But I enjoyed the national landscape of college football too, and that should matter as well. It shouldn't just be, oh, that's where all our money goes because that's the only one that's making money. Well, if you spread it out, maybe people want to go back to watching Kramer versus Kramer type movies. You don't give them even that option anymore. So that's all. That's all.
I just don't understand, what does the SEC want? Everybody recognizes they are the strongest conference in collegiate football. I mean, they make the most money. I just don't – they want to have this national playoff tournament, have more of their teams involved so they can, pound their chest even louder. You guys have your conference tournament, then you have your conference championship. Make that mean everything, and then sit this thing out. And let the rest of us compete for it. It's bizarre. I don't know, Random underscore John. We'll find out hopefully more in the coming months and years. Second question, and this goes to his topics that he sees being discussed over and over and over. What are the main reasons that booster subject seems so touchy to so many people? What actually happened that has so many people on the extremes of being all in for boosters or completely disenfranchised by them? Or maybe disenchanted is probably the better term. What is the reason this is still a thing? Now that the boosters are changing presidents at a rate our football team changes head coaches, how is consistency in the booster locker room, their offices, going? What makes our boosters so polarizing to our fans and alumni? What do you feel could be done to bring people to a mostly happy agreement on the subject? Regardless of your answers, there are a few things that always make people happy, and that would be Zaxby's DeLuna coffee. Everyone drink a cup of paradise while eating a Zaxby's spicy signature sandwich, all while reading Warchant, to which you most have definitely subscribed. Go Noles. Thank you, John. I don't know. I don't know. We just run out of things to argue about on the message boards, I feel like, John.
Well, and I think there are probably people on our message boards, a lot of people. We have a lot of old-time alums. New alums, old-time alums, people that didn't even go to Florida State, people that give money, a lot of money, people that don't give much money. It runs the gamut on our message boards. But I'm sure there are a lot of people that maybe didn't enjoy maybe their time spent with Andy Miller back in the day, and that might have soured their thoughts on Seminole Booster. And I'm not saying Andy Miller did a bad job. He did it for a long, long time, though. And so when you do something for 40 or 45 years, there are going to be people that come in and out, especially when you're raising money and you're trying to get money from people, you might rub people the wrong way. And there are going to be people that don't like you. That's just the nature of that job. It's the nature of life, really. Unlike other than Aslan and I, we don't have enemies. But other than that, well, yeah, you got a few. But so I think it goes back to that. And I think people are upset because when you look around the country, literally, if you take that 10,000, 20,000 view of Florida State right now in 2022, I get people going, well, why does Clemson raise so much more money than Florida State? That's podunk South Carolina. No offense, South Carolinians. I love your state. Fix the roads. It's fine. Please fix 85. But, Clemson isn't a big town. It's not like they're producing a ton of, doctors and neurosurgeons. So why do they have such a huge pile of booster money from IPTAY, and Florida State doesn't have anything close to that? And that's the perception. I don't know how close to reality that is, but that's the perception. Why does everybody talk about Florida State as if it's a poor school with no boosters? What has happened in the last 20 or 30 years where this is we can't have that. We can't have that because we just don't have boosters. We don't have the money for it. Why not? So people, I think, are frustrated by that it's always about the money. It's always Florida State not having enough money for this or that, even though they've won more games for 40 years in football than any other school in the country. So people think, okay, well, they weren't doing a great job when they were flying high. They didn't take advantage enough when they should have. Now, that's up for debate, and I'm not smart enough to know what could have been done differently. I do know, and only because I've talked to Ira, and Ira's the guy that always gets to the bottom of these kind of things and knows the real story, that I think the tact used to be Florida State boosters didn't really – they didn't reach out a lot to the, let's just say, middle class Florida State fans. They were always going for spanks. They always went after the big fish.
Easier that way, I would think, man. I mean, I don't
right,
begrudge them,
but
I
also,
understand.
but you don't want to alienate other people that do want to be boosters, but maybe you don't treat them as important or important at all. Again, this is perception. It's not me saying this was fact. As you do these other big name boosters, like that kind of thing. That's all I can think about. That's all I can really because I don't know. My dad was a booster forever. He was a Golden Chief. He always seemed to enjoy his relationship with the boosters. So I got no real ill will towards them. I just know that there is some friction there, or was some friction there. But yeah, we're past that now, and I do think they're aiming at everybody. They're going after low level, mid level, high level, elite level, Spanx level. They're going after all of it. Buster level. What's Posey? Come on, man. Come on, one time.
I don't have anything to add. I think you nailed it.
You know what would be a boss move? I just thought of it right now. What would be like the ultimate boss move is if Jimbo Fisher donated like $5 million to Florida State University. Wouldn't that be like? You know what I mean?
For the indoor, not the indoor, but like for the
just anything, just like, hey guys, you got me to where I am. You helped me get to where I am now. I'm not saying he would do this, and I'm not saying he should. I just think it would be like the ultimate, like flip your collar up. Like, yeah, I'm the bad guy, right? I'm the bad guy. Well, here's $5 million. No strings attached. I just want to see you guys succeed. Just throwing that out there.
Would they, if he was like, I'll give you guys $5 million towards your football operations facility, but I want my name on it. I think somebody's probably donated more than $5 million, but let's say that the highest donor right now on that project is $2 million, which I think there's somebody that's donated well more than that. Would the school do that? Would they call it like the Fisher Football Complex?
Ooh. I mean, he was a coach there.
I know.
And he did win a national title.
He did.
Sure. Yeah.
Let's go to Naples. Not really, but we'll take a question from one of our favorites. Our favorite. I don't know anybody else from Naples, but if I did, I'm sure Mark would still be my favorite. M. Adam CZ. Wake up! Enjoying this coverage of the diamond sports. Both baseball and softball should go deep into the postseason. Mike should consider getting Lonnie Alameda on staff as an analyst in the fall. Maybe help John Papuchis with the special teams. She's awesome. She would figure out a way, man. I think she might be the most indispensable coach in the entire campus. As much as I think like Meat singularly is so dialed into knowing everything in and out about baseball, I think like you could drop Lonnie in any sport and she'd get you the best return. I mean, she could do it all. I think she could block it up and get us a punt return that spans 23 yards at least. But that's
I think the same thing with Krikorian. Her and Krikorian both. I think just some people are just coaches, man. Yeah. They just see what you're supposed to see. And again, we talked about it a bit last year. I think I even wrote a column about it. But when they were on their run to the Oklahoma City and then getting there and doing what they did, and it was so different than how her teams had been built over the years. Like halfway through the season, she's like, we're slugging like 340. The year before they had slugged like 600. Like it was a totally different team, and they decided, you know what, we're not going to worry about that anymore. We're changing the way we play. I'm going to cater our whole offensive strategy to what we do well, which is get on base and run. We can run, we make contact, we don't have a bunch of home run hitters, so we're not going to get worried about doubles and home runs. We are just going to play a different kind of style of softball. And those are what great coaches do, man. They can adapt. They adapt to how a season's going, and they adapt to the personnel that they have. And, it's just that was a really – when you think about what they'd done with the Jessica Warren years and even the year after that, and then COVID obviously happened, but they made their bones being that team. Remember that year they hit I think they had 4 home runs in a row in a regional game, and that was the year after Jessica Warren. That's what they were. They were power. They just had a bunch of thumpers that 1 through 9, or at least 2 through 9, could hit it out of the park, and then led the ACC in home runs, were the national leaders in home runs. And then last year they were one of the, middle of the road in the ACC in home runs, or less than that, and they got all the way to the championship game. So that's what great coaches do.
Mark continues, as far as spring, I want to drink the Kool-Aid, but I did that when we hired Willie and Mike, and expectations were not met. I drank the Kool-Aid again when we brought in McKenzie, and again, no dice on the results. But the emergence of Jordan Travis as a quarterback and confident leader, and the addition of many quality transfers will allow me to take a sip of the Kool-Aid in the next 45 days or so, but largely I will be in wait-and-see mode. I was asking everybody where they would fall in that spectrum. Are they wait and see, or are they kind of all in? Mark, our deputy resident attorney, hanging out in the middle. Smart man.
Okay, smart, yeah.
2022 is the year for Norvell to show that he can succeed here, but to me, 2023 is the true show-me year because he'll have a couple of legitimate recruiting cycles under his belt. Are you guys drinking a big glass of Kool-Aid, maybe with a splash of Tito's, or are you in wait-and-see mode? Love the hard work and entertaining content. I clicked on another FSU podcast on YouTube yesterday just for something to listen to. I will not name the site. It was choppy and boring. They tried to be funny, but they were not. You guys crack me up and provide a smooth and entertaining experience, so thank you. M. Adam CZ out. Checks.
Well, that was a mistake, Mark. Don't ever click on one of those again.
Yeah, come on, man.
That's crazy. Is Tito's is vodka, right?
Correct, yeah.
There you go, because that's my drink now. I don't know the good stuff from the bad stuff. I'm a novice. I'm just starting out. But so far, through a couple of nights and again, I'm not going crazy, but the beauty of it, Aslan, with the vodka, is that I don't like the taste of it.
So you don't drink a lot of it.
So I don't drink a lot of it, and I drink it really slow.
Okay.
So with a little splash of cranberry.
I mean, vodka water was my drink for years. It, to me, literally tastes like water. Like I cannot taste the vodka and the vodka water on the ice. Maybe get a wedge of lemon, but I don't know, maybe the lemon.
I do. I get a lime. I get a couple limes and squirt those in there, and then I also get a side of cranberry juice.
Oh, a side of it now, and you do your own sort of.
I do my own mixing. I'm my own mixologist because I got a cranberry. What'd you call it? A brown mule?
Cape Cod.
That's what I said. Isn't that what I said? Cape Cod. Man, cranberry's heavy on your stomach. You can't be slamming like 4 glasses of a big thing of cranberry juice. Who wants to drink all that cranberry juice? But I need the taste. I can't just drink vodka and water. I know this is. Some people might be saying, Corey, you don't have to drink it all. To that, I say you're absolutely right. But let's be real. So I do a little. I'm a mixologist. Do a little splash of cranberry in there just to hide the vodka taste enough to where I can sip it down.
All right, so I think I'm slowly, as I've been reaching out to these other publishers and other writers that have covered these programs or these players have transferred from, I think I'm leaning a little bit more towards pouring Kool-Aid in my cup instead of just staring at it empty. Trying to forget what happened last year with the wins and the losses and the Florida game, namely. Which, again, I think Willie never really caught a lot of heat for losing to Florida in 2018, and I don't think Norvell caught a lot of heat for losing to Florida last season either. It's one of those weird things where I just can't imagine, watching these teams play in the 90s and how important it was, and even the lost decade. Just that was the only thing you kind of had left going for you because you kept losing to Miami every single year. It was just like, all right, we'll just win this one. It makes everything better. Now, I know we beat Miami last year.
Yeah.
But just like, you lost to an interim staff. Anyhow, that said, this offense is going to, I need to actually hammer it down and figure out how many of these guys were offered scholarships out of high school and how many of these kids are transfers, the kids that have played high-level Division I Power 5 football, and they're going to be relied on. Now, granted, they might have not produced at a great, exceptional level, but there's enough that if you want to squint your eyes and kind of, tilt your head, you're like, all right, I can see this working. I think Jordan will be better. I mean, if anything, can we not agree Jordan Travis got better in 2021 versus 2020?
Yeah, and imagine if he takes a similar leap. Yeah. Don't even call it a leap if you don't want to. Yeah. A similar step than to what he was at the end of last year. And I'm telling you, at the end of last year, he was good. He's a good quarterback. Yeah. They won because of him. They beat Miami because of him. They beat Boston College because of him. He was good. Yeah. He wasn't great against Florida, but he wasn't terrible. He got banged up, and you had the ball. Again, I know it's not just one play, but I can't remember the score. It was 3-0 or 7-3 or something in the first half. He gets hurt at Florida's 45-yard line after getting a first down. In the very next play, your backup quarterback comes in, somehow doesn't catch the snap, and you lose 21 yards, and there's the drive. And essentially there's the half because the field position switched back. You never got the field position again. You had a chance, if Jordan stays in the game, to maybe go score a touchdown there, give yourself a lead. He did. When he finally did come back in the game, he did go lead a touchdown drive. Struggled in the third quarter. They didn't have the ball a ton because the defense couldn't get off the field. And then in the fourth quarter, he had 2 touchdown drives. But, again, Florida was probably more in a prevent at that point. Either way, I think he's proven he was certainly better at the end of 2021 than he was at the end of even at the beginning of 2021. Like, he took major steps within the season. That confidence that comes with knowing you can do it. You can't put a price that. You can't even gauge that. There's no way to say what that means to go do something like that. But I think that, like, Florida State, when they went to the Elite Eight in basketball, that triggered something in them. We're like, look, man, we beat Xavier, we beat Gonzaga. We're not worried about, we can beat any of these teams in the ACC. We've done this. And there's just an air of confidence you have when you accomplish something like that, knowing you can do it. Now, it can get wiped out with one bad game or one bad quarter, who knows? But I just think Jordan Travis, for the first time, goes into a season not hoping he's a good quarterback, not hoping he can win the starting quarterback job, but knowing he's the starting quarterback, and in his mind, knowing he's one of the best quarterbacks in the country. I'm not saying that, but it doesn't matter what I think. Jordan Travis thinks he's one of the best quarterbacks in the country. That's huge. You haven't had a quarterback around here that thought he was good maybe since Jameis.
I think DeAndre had confidence.
Francois probably did, and then 17 had. You're right. Francois probably thought he was good. And he was his first year. But that's it. So we're talking about 5 years since you've had a quarterback that thought he was good. This guy doesn't think he's good. He knows he's good. I just think that's a big deal, man. I do. But, yeah, if he twists his ankle in the first quarter against LSU, what's his name, Austin Reed?
Yeah.
West Florida's own. Come on in, start throwing some dimes, buddy.
Yeah, the only thing that I'm probably it won't burn me until I get like punched in the face with it. Probably not really factoring in just how, losing Jermaine is just such a big deal. Because I don't want to say we're glossing over it, but we're like, they'll figure out a way. They can maybe get, the sum of the parts can be.
Oh no, it's their defense is going to take a step back. Hopefully, it's not a leap back, but they're going to take a step back. You losing those 2 defensive ends, you just don't replace it. What you hope is the offense overcomes it.
Okay, yeah,
that's what you hope. The offense is so much better, it improves so much that not that the defense that will stand a loss like that, but the team as a whole can withstand it because the offense will gain 6 or 7 points per game, even if the defense gives up 3 or 4 more points per game. You're still coming out net ahead.
Yeah, I would just hope that, they're entering the season with so much more talent, at least like proven, known talent at cornerback than they did last season. Last year was, we think maybe Jarvis Brownlee, we think maybe Jarian Jones. They practically played half the season without Amarian Cooper, and he might have been their best cornerback after all. Kevin Knowles, did about just as well as you would hope from a freshman, a true freshman to play. Greedy Vance, again, this is a guy that, from the limited conversation I've had with people that, from the Louisville site that covered him, had a lot of good things to say about him. Brian Brown, their defensive coordinator, did not want to lose him in the portal. So that's another sort of piece you have there. And then offensively, the offensive line is going to be undoubtedly better. The receiving core is going to be undoubtedly better. I don't care about the running backs. If you're not Dalvin Cook, you're just another dude to me, which is, I'm sorry, like running backs, running backs are a dime a dozen unless you are just that upper crust of just amazing, which is, I know that sounds like a backhanded compliment, but
I was going to ask if there was any correlation between like your viewing of running backs and your dating life. Ooh. Like if you're not Dalvin, you're nothing.
Okay.
But I wanted earlier in the show, I was like, I can tell you this when it comes to proposals. If Aslan proposes to someone before I propose to Stephanie,
I would never do that to you, man.
We will have a very big problem. We could do like a dual proposal.
I would never
something like that, but that would be very bad for me if Aslan proposed before I proposed to Stephanie.
I know Stephanie. I think nobody wants me to get a girlfriend more than Stephanie. I think even myself and my mother. Then your girlfriend wants me to get a girlfriend. And I
She was talking about we were going out. We were out with some friends the other night, and she was talking you up like he's a really good guy. She said she did call you.
Don't say that. There's so many things you can just don't market me as a good. Actually,
No,
I'm not a nice
look,
guy. I'm a good guy.
she
I'm
said
not a
you're
nice guy, but
handsome.
I'm a good guy.
Yeah,
Okay,
you're a
I'll
good
take
guy.
it. Yeah.
She said you're particular,
I am.
which I think is fair. But that's how she described you.
Okay,
You're
I'll take it.
particular, but you're a good guy. You're a nice guy. You're funny. You're fun to hang out with. She was talking you up, man.
I appreciate it. Checks in the mail, Steph. You're the best. So yeah, everything on offense, arrow up. Better cornerbacks. Give me some Kool-Aid.
Better
yeah,
linebackers.
As long as it's red. As long as it's red. As long as it's red. Warpath Knoll. Wake up, fellas. I know that everyone thinks that we need a transfer quarterback to at least back up Jordan Travis, but seems nobody wants to hurt his feelings. I do think he improved last year, and I look forward to seeing what he can do with an improved offensive line and wide receiver group around him. Wow, it's a perfect segue. My question is, if every top 25 team said, okay, Jordan Travis, we want you to come here, and it will be an open competition for the starting quarterback this season, how many of those jobs would he be able to win? Ooh. I think he would win LSU's job. I think he would win Florida's job. I don't know. Maybe they like that Anthony Richardson kid a lot.
Maybe, yeah.
Better
Could he
than
beat out Stetson Bennett? Yeah.
I don't, probably. He didn't turn the ball over. I mean, Stetson Bennett made more plays, but I don't think Stetson Bennett. I mean, it's
Stetson Bennett also had
and he just doesn't look the way we want him to look.
But it's fine. He has some gunslinger to him.
No, he's good.
He had a little Mackenzie Milton to him, but he also had 6 seconds to throw every play.
Fair.
You know, because he had an established running game, a traditional running game, not a running game where he had to use his legs, although he is athletic. Man, that's hard. I don't think you could go around the country and say that. I think out of the top 25, not looking at it, I think Jordan Travis would have a legitimate chance to start at half of them.
Over half of them, I would say. Yeah.
Legitimately. I mean, he is not a clown show. He is not like again, he went 5-2 in his last 7. He went 5-3 on the season as a starting quarterback. Again, the first was the first loss of the season when he put up 28 points against Notre Dame. They put up 38. And the other 2 were at Clemson and at Florida. All the other games he won. And he put up some decent numbers. Like the last 3 games, he averaged over 300 yards of total offense and 8 touchdowns. So he did some things there against 3 bowl teams. So he's not awful. This is not, and again, love you, James. This is not James Blackman. This guy's a legitimate quarterback, and I think in the right situation, he could lead a team to a conference championship. It ain't going to be this one because there's not the requisite talent around him, but he could lead teams to championships, conference championships, in my opinion.
I would say, look, I'm looking at the Schlabach's way too early top 25 that drops like the minute after the national title game is over. Maybe it'd be the back half of it. I mean, looking at like the top 10, I mean, C.J. Stroud's coming back to Ohio State, Bryce Young, Stetson Bennett.
He could certainly make a run at Michigan.
I don't know. I was going to say, I don't know. I think Caden McNamara, I think Harbaugh likes him. Okay, we could say that. Notre Dame.
They got the young guy. I know they got that young freshman they like to run, but he
McCarthy.
didn't.
Yeah, McCarthy. I mean, Utah, that quarterback of theirs, that dude, he's a dude. He would not lose his job. NC State's 8th. I mean, I don't think he beats out Devin Leary.
He's not beating out Leary.
Spencer Sanders at Oklahoma State, I think, is pretty entrenched. Like Michigan State, that's probably somewhere he could win the job. Clemson, I don't know. He could. I don't know. He could.
I can promise you that he's
Uiagalelei.
Yeah, absolutely. He's better than that guy. Yeah. Florida State last year had I know who won the game, but Clemson did not win the game because of their quarterback. Obviously, Florida State didn't win their game because of their quarterback either. But you put Jordan Travis on that Clemson team, and he doesn't look like DJ. The offense is better. I mean, he's a better, at least last year, he was a better college quarterback than that kid.
And last one, just for grins, number 12, Oregon.
Man, what Dillingham wouldn't give. Jordan, come on, man. Come on, you love it out here. There's ducks, there's trees, there's hippies with hacky sacks. It's your speed, buddy. Come on out here.
All right, let's get a couple more. We're nearing the hour mark here. Knoll 43, it's Eric. If we don't get to your question now, we'll run it on Monday's show, which hopefully will include another sweep on the diamond and the softball circle. They play a diamond too, I guess. I know the pitchers of the circle. I'm going off script. Knoll 43, it's Eric, Cincinnati. Wake up, Knoll fanatics, Aslan and Corey as well. As we're approaching the start of spring practice 2022, We're less than a week away. What's the biggest impact you guys are looking forward to witnessing during spring practice? Personally, Eric speaking here, I want to see our offense make a good impression throughout spring practice leading into the spring game. Hopefully I can catch up with everyone from Warchant and some of my fellow pillars at Corner Pocket. He doesn't say fellow pillars, but he's a pillar. Corner Pocket should change its name to Warchant Pocket Corner. LOL.
Yeah.
Hit thumbs up. That's the like button on the way out. Subscribe to warchant.com or Warchant on YouTube. As always, drink your delicious DeLuna coffee. Go Noles. Eric from Cincy. Biggest impact you guys are looking forward to witnessing during spring practice?
Yeah, I think we've talked about it, right? Not to dismiss Eric's question, but it's the offense. It's everything to do with the offense. I'm more interested in the running backs than Aslan is, particularly the Oregon transfer, Benson. I just want to see how he moves and what he looks like. So I'm interested in the running backs, but overall the offense.
I just think they'll be fine. They'll be fine at running back. They'll figure out a way to get what they need out of that position. Like I don't think they're going to that. I don't think they'll feel hamstrung that they don't have some sort of weapon, some sort of talent they want there. Obviously, you could always be better, but I don't think they're going to the season thinking, "Gosh darn, if we could have held on to Jay Sean, we're talking ACC championship maybe." They'll make do. That's what I'm trying to say. I mean,
there you go.
Love you, Jay Sean. Let's go to our dude out there in Gwinnett land, Georgia Knowles 86. It's Ranye. Wake up, guys! All caps, 13 exclamation marks. What are your thoughts? Now, mind you, everybody, we're recording this on Wednesday. Who knows what can happen? Our own Irish felon Gene Williams did address this in a post that's on the Tribal Council. Check it out. But Ranye asks us, what are our thoughts if Alex Atkins were to leave for UGA? What offensive line coach would you hire to replace Atkins? Well, we would just have to go after Matt Luke, get him out of retirement,
Yeah. See if he's, are you cool with your family now?
Yeah, spent enough time.
Yeah, it's been a few days.
Yeah. I just don't. It doesn't make sense. I mean, it makes sense and it doesn't make sense. Ira and Gene, again, like I don't want to steal thunder from our subscribers what they pay for to get the inside information, but it's it's several hours old now. But he is probably on that list, but we have not heard he's like the leading candidate, and there hasn't been any kind of rumbling about him wanting to get out of here. He just did sign a recent contract extension with a bump in pay, with a bump in title. It would be a little bit weird. I know that's not a right probably adjective to use, but to leave at this point, that is Georgia. It is a defending national champion. You go to Georgia and you, I don't know, win the SEC at least or make it to the playoff again, you probably, I think Alex Atkins will be able to get a head coaching job at a good Group of 5 school after that.
Yeah, maybe. Again, I poo-pooed that yesterday. Like it's hard. Like when you're climbing a ladder, you go to OC is a big part of that usually. But then the guy at Arkansas, Pittman, he was just quote unquote an O-line coach, and then he became the head coach at Arkansas. So all bets are off now when it comes to hires.
But there was a little history there. He had coached at Arkansas. A lot of the alums that played for him sort of vouching for him.
But I don't think he'd ever been an OC before, and you don't usually see guys become head coaches without just going from a position coach to a head coach. It doesn't typically happen.
Right.
But that doesn't mean it can't happen. Look, if that were to happen, and again, who knows if it would or will, but I think it gives me personally, it gives Norvell a chance to reset his whole philosophy about what he wants from his offensive coordinator. If Atkins leaves, you have a chance, you have some money freed up to go get the best available offensive coordinator and let him coordinate your offense.
I know, but isn't the thing you need an offensive line coach? That's the thing. Like Alex Atkins is like a unicorn. The fact that he can
I guess you would need
line and he can probably game plan and call plays. Not that he's going to.
Yeah.
It's going to be Norvell calling the plays, but that offensive line position, that's a very crucial one. And
there'd have to be some restructuring, right? Like you'd have to figure out, and I'm not suggesting this. I don't want this to happen. I almost don't even want to say it out loud. But if that happens, maybe you tell Tokars, sorry, man, I know we just did this, but we've got a chance to get this guy as our OC/quarterback coach, and we obviously have to go get an O-line coach. So we might have to pull you back from on the field for another year or two. And I'm not saying I want that to happen. I'm not even suggesting that to happen. But I've been a little bit I don't know that I like the idea. I'm not totally on board with the idea of your head coach calling plays and being the offensive coordinator. I'm just not. There are there are some really proven guys out there that would love to come to Florida State. And maybe it's only because of what I've seen these last 2 years. And I know I should look at it with a John DeSty because of the offensive line and the challenges he was having to go through and the receiver problem that he had. But this offensive line has been mediocre. I mean, this offense has been mediocre to bad for 2 years. I don't know how else it's been mediocre.
Yes.
So if you have a chance to go get somebody that's proven at this level, the Power 5 level, that they have a really good offense and know what they're doing and can install it quickly, or it's very similar to yours, and they're willing to come, this to me would give you a chance to go attack that. Because basically what you've done is you promoted from within for an offense that was 87th in the country. Why not go get somebody that was 21st in the country and bring them and see if they can work their magic here, because it hasn't taken yet. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying they should do that. I'm saying if I'm Mike Norvell and that happens, if you lose Atkins, maybe he was a little unsure about doing it anyway. Didn't he make a run at another OC? Is that right? Or am I thinking of something else?
Receivers coach.
Oh, that's right.
Or running back coach. We're going to go for the guy from Penn State and then move Yak to receivers.
Because I don't want it to sound like I think making Atkins the OC was a mistake.
Right.
I'm just saying it gives you, because we don't know yet, and Atkins is a very sharp guy, but it gives you a chance to maybe reset with somebody that's done it at a bigger level, and you know, if that happens, yes, you're going to have to make, in my opinion, you go make 2 new hires. But, you know, hopefully it won't happen, and we're not worried about it. But I do think instead of just going and finding an O-line coach, because then what? Who's your OC? Norvell?
Yeah.
Tokars? Like, who becomes your OC if Atkins leaves? You know, I don't know necessarily that we've seen enough from this offense yet to think, okay, this guy is an unmitigated genius, and he needs to be running the show full time. There might be somebody out there that could be better. It could be better for Florida State. Don't just, go get somebody that's good for Florida State if you got a chance. Don't promote from within all the time. You can go make a splash hire. Those are allowed. And if you get a chance again because Atkins leaves, maybe that opens up the door to try to go make a splash hire on the offense. Again, not promoting it, not wanting it to happen, just saying that would be something that maybe I would think about if Atkins were to leave and all of a sudden my OC position is open again.
That is probably the cleanest way to do it. I think you're looking at it the right way. I wasn't looking at that initially at the question, but I think you're looking at it the right way where you kind of think to yourself, all right, well, we got to maybe kind of start over. Because the easiest way to do it is find an offensive coordinator who's got an offensive line coach they know. Like that whole kind of the Kendall Browse, Randy Clements package sort of deal.
Right.
The drawback.
But then you still got Tokar. Like you can't have, you got to bump down an assistant coach.
Right.
Yeah.
The issue with that, obviously what you're saying right there with Tony Tokar's, in this situation, this hypothetical that's probably never going to happen, is that you have to move somebody off the field, and that's not going to go over well.
Right.
But then as Mike Norvell, you're the head coach. This is year 3. I know Mark was saying that he thinks 2023 is the show me year because that gives him another year to get maybe some more of these high school kids developed. But, I think this is a show me year. 2020, there's a lot riding on the line this season. And you're pretty much – you're doing a complete course correction then if you kind of cede control of the offense. Because right now you're doubling down on your principles, your ideas, your concepts, your scheme. And listen, it's so difficult in the middle of March or April. I just lost my offensive coordinator. What do I do now?
Yeah.
You can't. Pride comes before the fall or whatever. I get that, but that'd be kind of weird going to such a crucial year and basically putting your entire offensive hopes and dreams in the hands of somebody else. Unless do you get Chip Long from Georgia Tech that you did coach with, but then again, you need to bring an offensive line coach, and then we're going around in circles on this. I think
if you were going to do that, if you were going to go try to get you a real established OC, there'd also you can't go into August scrapping what you've been doing for 2.5 years and installing a whole new offense. It wouldn't be a Kendall Briles type hire where the offense is just completely his and it's different and he's got to install all this stuff. I don't think you're looking at something like that. I think you're looking at somebody that you trust, knows your offense, can tweak your offense a little bit, but it still keeps the same offense essentially. What you want to do, your schemes, even mostly of your plays. If you're in love with your plays, all that, just you got a chance to go get somebody that's really. You might have a chance to go get somebody that's really good that can make you better. And you don't always have to promote from within. There could be an opportunity to go get a big name, or not even a big name, a good coach. Again, not saying Atkins isn't. Atkins is. We know that. That's been established. But so what I would be fearful of is if Atkins leaves and then all of a sudden you promote Tokars to OC.
Oh, boy, no way.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's the logical step, and then you just go get an O-line coach. Ooh. And then Tokars becomes the de facto OC, and it's like, man, I don't think this is how you build it at Florida State. Like, you have a chance. You can go get a bigger name. Don't just, don't shy away from that just because you want to keep it, you want to keep the synergy. There's the word, right? Aslan, I nailed that one.
Crushed it.
Of the last 2 years, you can go get someone, and there's coaches that would run to Tallahassee to be the offensive coordinator all across this country. Really smart guys and proven guys that would run to Tallahassee to be the OC, and let them have free reign to be the OC under the umbrella of your offense and what you're trying to get accomplished. I think that's how I would do it, because otherwise, you're not going to bring in an offensive line coach that's also an offensive coordinator. Those don't. There's like 4 of them out there, in Power 5. So that's not going to happen. So you're going to have to, I guess you would promote Tokars to OC, or Norvell's OC / head coach. None of those are good ideas, in my opinion, or at least they're not going to be very palatable to the Florida State fan base. I should put it that way. If you make a guy that wasn't even on the field last year, the last 2 years, your OC from within, from an offense that wasn't very good.
Did Dabo do that with both of his coordinators? Or no, I think his
Dabo's
defensive coordinator got promoted. I think it was a linebackers coach, so he was on the field, I think.
But also Dabo's got a little more benefit of the doubt. Yeah, a little more equity built there in Clemson.
Alex, what we're basically saying is that you have all the leverage in the world.
But also don't leave.
Yeah,
Athens is a terrible town. You'll hate it. That program is due for a reckoning. It's about to crater. As much as it pains me to say, as a UGA alum, don't go to Athens. Terrible town, terrible music scene, terrible just light nightlife. You're going to hate it. Awful college town.
When Brady starts doing his official visits, I want to go with you guys to Athens. Can we do that at least? I've never been. I want to go to Athens. I've never been. I've heard nothing but awesome things about it. But I want to go with a.
You want to be occasion. So when the coach is pitching Brady on coming to UGA, it'll be me, you, and Brady and Shannon in the room.
Yeah, I mean Shannon,
okay, that's fair. Well, you're kind of his mentor anyway. You've taken him under your wing. Yeah, obviously, folks, that was a complete joke. Athens is awesome, and I love it. It's a great college town.
Second part of Ronye's question, we go from the most important thing to tight ends. How do you feel about our tight end room? Do you believe anyone is ready to take that next step and really produce at the position and be that X factor? My sleeper pick, Ronye says, is Jackson West. I believe he will have a breakout year for the tight end group. We could only hope, Ronye. It's Cam or bust, but at this point,
no, we know what Cam is, though, right?
Exactly.
And Cam's a serviceable tight end at this level. I want him to make a few more big plays. He gets opportunities. He doesn't make a ton of guys miss, but he's a fine player. He hasn't proven to be special yet, but maybe this is the year he takes that leap. But talking about people you want to watch, I am really intrigued with Jackson West. That size, the physicality. I feel like he's a more athletic Jordan Wilson, not as big as Jordan Wilson was. Not Jordan Wilson, right?
Yes.
I'm getting that right. Yeah, the kid from UCLA that was here last year. But he's more athletic than Jordan Wilson. Not quite as big, but I think he's that physical guy on the outside of the line that they like in the run blocking too. I think Jackson West that's who they want him to be, but he also has more athleticism than Jordan Wilson. So I think, he might be a guy that takes a big step. I think that's a good point. It was Rondé or Ronnie? Ronye. Sorry, Ronye. Yeah, man, he's old part of the show. Jackson West is a good name. I'm very interested in that. We'll see what we call Marquiston Douglas. What do they call him?
Biscuit.
Yeah, we'll see what Biscuit looks like.
Yeah, I like that
if he's trimmed up and looks even better and ready to go, because that's a big body too, man. They certainly have a lot of numbers to throw at the problem. We'll see if any of them separate themselves in the spring. But, yeah, Cam is obviously the starter, but you need somebody to be a serviceable to even maybe good. That's allowed too. Be a good tight end, a really good tight end. I've seen them around the country, Aslan. I don't know if you've seen them, but tight ends they're good ones all over the country. The NFL is littered with them. Yeah. So go. Maybe one of these guys is a future NFL guy.
I'm gonna go hot take. I'm gonna go hot take here. Johnny Wilson.
Oh, they're moving him to tight end?
Move him in line.
That's probably what he wanted to come to Tallahassee for. No. He was tired of playing wide receiver at Arizona State.
All right. I guess I've had to pick between those two guys. I'd probably pick Marqueson over Jackson West. Marqueson actually flashed like at practice. I know Jackson West, I don't remember seeing a lot from, but good family, good head on his shoulders, very, earned a lot of praise from Chris Thompson in the preseason, so they felt good about where he could maybe be at some point. So, we're not all on the immediate turning over plan, so maybe another year will help out. All right, let's do one last one here. Actually, we got two more. I guess let's go ahead and
let's speed through it. Here we go, Aslan. Let's do it.
JT Knowles, 2K2, Aslan, Corey, wake up. Hope everything is going well for you guys. It is, other than Corey's abs, but the core work's going to be. I love the reply on Twitter. Somebody was like, you lamented your planks, and they were like, you'll look like Greg Jones in no time. Enjoy.
Right.
That was awesome.
Yeah, awesome. I can see that coming.
JT Knowles, 2K2, says, I remember listening to an old war chat. Parenthetically, he adds, I hope to come back. I hope those come back one day. I listened to an old war chat describing the 12 Clemson game. During it, Corey asked E.J. Manuel if facing Brett Venables the past 2 years had helped him prepare better when they faced him for that third game. So my question is, do you think because we faced Brian Kelly the past 2 seasons, it could help us against LSU? I know he'll have different coaches and a different player pool, but maybe if Mike knows Brian's tendencies, that could provide assistance.
Hey, I appreciate the shout out for War Chat. I like doing those. Hopefully, we will we'll do them occasionally here, especially in the summer. The summer's a good time for it, so hopefully we can get a few of those together because those are fun. And plus, we got a booming YouTube channel now, so I think they'd get even more and more views. Go back and watch them, folks. They're interesting. And if I remember correctly, E.J. Manuel, I think, admitted that it didn't occur to him at all that they had played for Brent Venables the year before when he was at Oklahoma, and it didn't really matter to him at all. It was just Jimbo and came up with a game plan and put up 50 points. I think that's got I think that's got to help. You know what his system is, especially on offense, right? You kind of know what he's going to try to do. You faced it the last 2 years. So, it's better than an unknown opponent. You essentially know. It's better than playing Boise State where you haven't faced that offense before, ever. You faced this offense now, is it 3 years in a row? 2 years in a row?
Well, yeah, I mean, Norvell's seen him both years he's been in Tallahassee. So. It certainly doesn't hurt. I mean, it doesn't guarantee anything, but it certainly should help things that you're facing a system. You feel like you have a pretty good handle. You gave up 41 points, but you feel like you're familiar with what you're going to be up against from a scheme standpoint. And the thing is, he brought one of his old guard back with him, like a guy that was with him at Grand Valley State, was with him at Notre Dame. I think when they had that really bad season, he had to kind of cut some guys loose, and that was one of the dudes he cut loose. But he ended up going to Cincinnati and doing all right. Now they're reunited. So if anything, like that offense will look very familiar probably to what you've seen from Brian Kelly's teams in the past. But defensively, Matt House is a completely different dude. I mean, he's been he was a coordinator at somewhere in the SEC. I forget where, but then he ended up being the linebackers coach for the Chiefs here. So I mean, I don't know how exotic and crazy you can get with what they have on defense. They've got dudes. They've got one dude at each level, as I said the other day. But defensively, maybe a little bit more of a mixed bag. But I think offensively, you can probably know what to expect because there's going to be that continuity from what he's been coaching with before. Also, JT Knowles 2K2 adds, I had a post on the Tribal Council regarding who was the best non-Heisman winning FSU quarterback, excluding Casey Weldon. I was wondering what y'all's thoughts on that question would be. Lastly, I heard Aslan mention last week that he loved Kelvin Benjamin and the Muck, Pahokee, Belle Glade, so I wanted to recommend the book Muck City by Brian Mueller. It details a season with the Belle Glade football team, and the famous Knoll is one of the main focuses of that book. I think Anton might have been in that one. I do need to check that out. I try to do my reading into non-sports stuff mostly.
No, I think Kelvin is a part of that book.
Is it Kelvin? Is Kelvin?
Yeah, I think Kelvin's a part of that book. And Jesse Hester, maybe, former Florida State wide receiver, was one of the coaches down there,
As always, thank you for answering my questions. Drink to Luna, eat Zaxby, subscribe to War Chant as well. as FSU players that have a YouTube account. Micah Pittman, Floyd, and McDonald. Who's
Okay.
Cam McDonald? Aslan. There's a guy last name Floyd on the team.
William Floyd, fullback.
Lloyd Willis? Floyd? Is that a soft? I shouldn't admit this. Ira's like, shut up, Aslan. All right. Best non-Heisman winning quarterback that's not Casey Weldon.
I'm going to go. My first instinct was Ponder. And he was good. I'm not saying he wasn't. I'm going to say Peter Tom Willis.
All right. I was going to say that as well.
Love that guy. He only got to start for one season, but it was especially for that year, for that time of college football, that era in 1989. He was awesome. Lost the first 2 games. They weren't his fault. Lost to Brett Favre. The offense was fine, and he was pretty good against Clemson the next week, and they lost that. And then he ran it off 10 in a row. Beat Miami, beat Auburn, beat Florida, beat Nebraska, beat the bejesus out of Nebraska in the bowl game. So I'm gonna say PT.
Bill Kappelman,
you can share my answer.
Bill
Okay.
Kappelman, final answer.
Nice, well done.
Apparently he's from Dunedin. I never even knew that. That's awesome. Pinellas County, let's go. Last one, Bjorn Werner Schnitzel. Guten Morgen, gents. With the recent announcement that FSU has partnered with Fanatics to pay players for jersey sales, there has never been a better time to get jerseys for the family this offseason. Okay. Do you guys have an idea when those jerseys will be available for purchase? I know the announcement said they'd be available for the 2022 season. I would guess summer. I would guess probably like June-ish. But that's
If they were smart, they'd have them for the spring game.
Oh.
By early April is when they should have them out there.
So how does this work? I can go on Fanatics. I can order Florida State jersey. I can get 13 Travis on the back of it, or whatever 53, and get Maurice Smith on the back of it, and then he gets a portion of it.
I don't know, man. Probably something like that. Maybe there's a special button you got to hit. I feel like you could have done that anyway. In fact, a buddy of mine, this was like 5 years ago, his brother-in-law got him a really thoughtful Christmas gift. It was a number 2 throwback Florida State jersey, which is awesome. So it's Dion's jersey, right? And it's a throwback. It's a really cool jersey. But on the back, he had put my friend's last name. Like, I guess they let you do that. They let you put names that stitch in your own name or a different name. And my friend was kind of bummed about that. Like, man, it would have been really cool if it just didn't say anything at all. Like, now it looks like you don't do that. You don't go to a college football game and put your own name on the back of a jersey, right? That's kind of odd.
Yeah.
And he didn't do it. It was a Christmas gift, so he felt kind of weird about wearing it.
The program will launch fall 2022.
Oh, okay.
They partner with players who opt in for officially licensed co-branded jersey customizations with more than 150 schools. So it'll bear the name of athletes that opt into the program. With that said, he asks, what current FSU player's jersey would you be the most excited to have? Jordan Travis is an obvious choice, but I think he's done better than most players on the team with his 4th and 14 shirts. I think Dillingham has bought one of each kind.
Yeah.
Touche. We have lots of great players who deserve their numbers in the stands and some interesting jersey number changes. I would lean towards a few players considering that I consider as deserving as Jordan Travis, such as number 4, Kalen DeLoach, number 0, Douglas. Jakai's going to wear 0? I don't like 0. Or 91.
I like
Robert
it on
Cooper.
a lineman. I like it on love it.
Yeah.
I think it's cool on a defensive lineman to wear 0, or cooler. But, yeah, I don't like it on a skill player at all.
Who on the team would you choose to support with your jersey purchase?
Jamie Robinson.
Okay.
I like the way that dude plays.
I'd probably say Bob Scott. Give me Robert Scott.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I won't look good in a 50 or a 60 number. Bethune, that's a good name, like Bethune 15. I think that'll look good. That's look good on a jersey. Bethune 15.
Okay, all right. So it's more about what looks good on you than, like, showing love to the player.
Yeah. Oh,
Okay.
I didn't answer the question, though. You answered the question.
Right.
Trayshawn Ward, how about that? Like, way to stick it out. Way to walk on.
You know what? Yeah, former walk-on, was here forever. Finally got a chance to shine. Runs hard. He's a easy guy to cheer for. I know he didn't have the best upbringing. For him to be here in this moment, being a starting running back at Florida State, yeah, you've inspired me, Aslan. That's a great choice. I'm going to say Ward as well.
All right, that was a bit of an abrupt end to the show. There's so much technical stuff that went on. that Corey doesn't even know about afterwards. I'm not going to bore you with it, but we got it all in here pretty much. Don't forget, stay connected to warchant.com. It is the ultimate Seminoles sports source. Spring position previews still rolling on. Defensive ends. Ira and Tom spoke about it the other day. That's up on the YouTube page. Defensive tackles is coming down the pipe. That'll be on Friday. And we're going to keep talking about baseball and softball. We got lots to discuss every single day over at warchant.com, the ultimate Seminoles sports source. Corey and I will catch up with you folks on Monday. Thank you for listening to Wake Up Warchant, fueled by DeLuna Coffee. Come explore our world of coffee. DeLuna Coffee features over 24 different blends. DeLuna's unique roasts can be delivered ground finely for drip coffee makers, coarse for the craft crowd, untouched as a whole bean, or even in convenient K-Cups. Founded in 2014 by the Lemmix family, Ed and Brett are FSU alums and boosters who are extending a special offer to all listeners. Use the promo code WARCHANT15 for a 15% discount. Visit DeLunaCoffee.com and check out their Facebook and Instagram.